And welcome back to another episode of Hawk Talk. Today we have a very interesting conversation. In here with me today, I have Kat Weinert. Kat, thank you so much for coming in.
Absolutely. Thank you, Joel.
Awesome. So for those of you who don't know who Kat is, she's been in our community for a very long time. Fantastic photographer in our local community. She wears many, many hats, but that's one of the areas you might know her from. Kat, what are some of the other things that you're involved in our community?
Well, I do have some kids in the school, and I also served some time on the chamber board. So did a little bit of 4th of July planning and Wake Up Santa. You might have seen me and the crew kind of running around preparing and doing that sort of stuff. Yeah, that's kind of
all over the place, really. Yeah, absolutely. So now you're kind of putting on a new hat a little bit with this new thing we're about to talk about.
Yep.
So moving forward a little bit, there's this B program that we're going to talk about in this podcast. But before we talk about it, we got to talk about how we got here and what happened. So, Kat, why don't you take away, like, how did we get to this beef program that we're about to share with the audience, but what kind of spawned it and what happened prior to?
Yeah. So I was asked to be on the health and wellness committee here at the school. And so I thought this was going to be a great way to maybe start the beef program in school. But when I showed up to the wellness committee, they were talking already about a health fair. Yeah. And so we got to talk a little bit about the health fair. And I think it's it's a great way that our kids are going to be connecting with healthy ideas and with our local hospital and healthcare providers, and then other different professionals throughout the town too. There'll be topics like gun safety. I am running a booth about beef nutrition, but there'll also be eye health, dental care, all kinds of things. And the kids will be broken into groups of 4, 5, or 6, and then they'll really get to specialize in their topic. It'll be a little bit like a science fair, but more health related.
Absolutely.
Importance of hydration and different, just a whole health encompassing fair for the kids. We really encourage the parents to come out. It will.
Yeah. When is that?
April 24th.
Okay.
It's going to be in the big gym from 5:30 to 7.
Yes, which this is kind of where, if I'm correct, the beef thing is entering, correct? So
yes. So there will be supper served at the health fair. And so this is kind of where we're going to take off into the beef part of it. So the supper will be served. We are going to be fundraising for the processing of the local beef that is now going to be supplied in the school.
Okay. Gotcha. So, and that's kind of what's building to essentially, what we're doing this whole podcast about,
Right.
which is essentially, obviously the health fair that we're doing is an event that's coming up, but that's kind of spawning this program that you guys have put together. And is it you, and then is there other individuals involved, or who's all involved in this program?
Yeah, so I have partnered with Rural Reach, which is a nonprofit that is run by some folks that you might already know. Jasmine and Cassidy are spearheading this nonprofit. So basically what's happening is I've reached out to some community members who are ranchers and finished their beef and asked them if they would be willing to donate one beef. And I've gotten myself and 4 other yeses included in this. And so we'll be donating a finished product, delivering it to the butcher, which is USDA inspected, and then we'll be supplying the school with local ground beef.
Okay, so that's kind of the real, I guess, bird's eye view version of what's essentially happening. Yep. And moving forward, what really inspired you to even have this idea? Like, where did this come from? Yeah,
so I think nutrition has always just kind of been a really interesting topic to me, and I think that, maybe I have to say this because I'm a rancher, but I think we could just solve all the world's problems with beef. I'm just sure of it. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. So I just know that there are a lot of great impacts that can be made with the with the option of having this local beef, creating a little bit of flexibility in the lunchroom budget so that maybe we can do some other things with that money if we're not purchasing the beef straight, right from a food truck or something.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of that, and then just, hoping that when Sean and I donated a quarter of a beef and we processed it into snack sticks for the kids.
And that was last year, right?
Earlier this fall.
It was this fall?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So this fall we had done that, and so we brought the snack sticks to the schools. They were giving them out as at snack time for the elementary kids, and those kids were so thankful for the snack sticks. I've had kids send me letters. I've had them draw me pictures. Mm-hmm. You go to a basketball game and some random kid will come up and say, "Thank you so much for donating that. That was so good." I had it multiple times, which just was never the point of the donation, but it showed me the value of the planning process, or of the process of donation.
Well, the appreciation of
yes,
it all.
exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And it truly felt like it made a difference in some of those kids' lives. So that kind of spurred us on to do more. How can we do more of that?
That's really huge, because you talk about, kids coming up to you and talking to you about it, and it wasn't prompted by parents.
Right.
It was just intrinsic from the student. They were like, "That was awesome. Thank you so much." And to have kids want to do that and come talk to you, that's a game changer.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. And it just, I just think that, for the kids to actually come up and do that, it obviously made a difference in their lives. It maybe sustained them a little bit more through that afternoon. And I know, we ask a lot of our kids, right now, for instance, we've got kids coming for breakfast, and then they're coming for lunch, and then they're kind of on their own. Well, they've got snack in the afternoon, I should say, but then, okay, now we're going into elementary volleyball or something. So then we're in volleyball till 5:30.
And you need more snacks.
And you need more snacks.
Oh yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
Otherwise they get into my car and they're just ravaging. I mean, even the floor mats aren't safe in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the other thing too, is that, you guys are almost trying to relieve some stress too from the cooking staff, because they're shackled to their income, their funding, what they have available. So in a sense, you're giving them also an opportunity to have more resources to work with as well. Right.
And the 4 other producers that stepped up to make this donation, are it's just the classic ones that, I just knew we could count on, and I think we're going to name them here in this podcast. Jordan and Jackie Chrisman. Absolutely. Al Tim. 100%. Dwayne Ingraff, who does so much for the JCs. Brett and Amy Henderson are also stepping up and doing that donation. These are people that care about our kids. They care about our community, and didn't hesitate. It wasn't like I had to cold call them. It wasn't that I had to beg them for it. They were just, it was important to them, and they said yes right away. So we just definitely want to lift up those producers and say thank you to them. They're stepping up in a huge way, which is where we're kind of leading back into the health fair and the fundraising we're doing there. We're going to ask the community to step up and help us with the processing of it, because that's the other side of this that does get expensive.
So with that processing, because it's not just like you can just throw it somewhere and then you get your beef back. Processing is a beast in its own right? Mm-hmm. So how does that process work?
Yeah. So we, because it's going through the school, it does have to be USDA inspected. And right now, Bowman is constantly USDA inspected.
Oh.
Spruce Hill Meats in Bowman is USDA inspected. So the live critters will head out that direction. We've got them kind of staggered, which was just pure luck, that they'll be staggered throughout the school year. So we might have a little bit of overlap, but the school just doesn't have a storage capacity for all 5 beef at one time. So we just really got lucky staggering it through the school year.
Wow.
So yeah, we're really lucky there. And I love that over at Spruce Hill, they told us, not that this would ever be a problem with the producers that stepped up, but, he was just so passionate about if we have if we have junk critters come in here, we're going to feed our kids junk, and I just won't have that. So
he's being a stickler about
he's
it.
definitely being a stickler, and he's making sure that like the buck stops with him. He would reject an animal if it just wasn't good. And so that's just not going to be a problem for these guys that we've got, stepping up this year. But it's nice to know that, there's kind of some quality levels in place here for this project right away from the get-go.
Wow. So, I mean, you're not only getting, people here in the nearby area, you're going all the way over to Bowman, and you have people who are excited about this process.
Yeah.
And that's really big.
Yeah, he is exceptionally excited, and actually was really kind of lighting my fire after the beef sticks. I went back in to get the sticks, and he was like, I just never really thought about using, because there's a lot of maybe wasted products. Not wasted is probably the bad word for it, but like the trimmings and things that you just are like, oh, what can I do with these? I don't know. So maybe they're wasted. But when we turned them into snack sticks, he was like, that's a great idea. And the snack sticks, openly were expensive to process because there's so much more that goes into those instead of just ground burger. So it's definitely one of the line items that, should we not be able to fundraise all of the processing fees, the snack sticks would go, but the beef that is constantly in our school lunches would absolutely stay.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So then, kind of dialing back to that processing, so it's at the processing plant or at the location, correct? What was the location called again?
Spruce Hill Meats.
Spruce Hill Meats. So it's at Spruce Hill Meats. What does that process look like, and how does it go from Spruce Hill Meats back to the school and then into our freezers, our refrigerators? What does that process look like?
Yeah. So, I mean, at this point, it's probably me going to Bowman to get the finished product. But luckily, like I said, it's kind of staggered through the school year. So go get it, and roughly thinking 450 to 500 pounds of beef at the end of one critter. And so there will be maybe it looks like, from what I can understand, there'll be enough spacing in the freezers for just that.
Okay, just for that one trip.
Yep. It sounds like, we just got kind of lucky with the spacing of it out and how much freezer space we have. So hopefully that is going to be
That'll work just right.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay. So getting it there is going to be kind of your process and getting that transferred from one to the other. Yep. So moving on to like the students. So we talked about how the students, benefited so much from just having those beef sticks. And we've been talking about the nutrition and how this all affects, school meals are sometimes, the biggest meal that a student gets. Sometimes certain students don't have access to resources. So the school meal is kind of the solid foundation of their day. How will having a higher quality beef impact their health and daily lives? I mean, that's kind of the exciting part here.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm really hoping that, maybe we have a little bit better concentration from these kids. And if we have a little bit better of a base for nutrition, then maybe, maybe we just have better, it might just be as simple as the kids are communicating better in the afternoon. And not to say that, the lunches are already providing great resources in that sense, but hopefully, if we are able to provide a little bit more, the snack sticks or something at snack time, then maybe we can, kind of extend that out, when their sugar spikes and crashes a little bit, which everyone's does. Then we get that's when we get hangry and the icky sides of us kind of come out. Yeah. So I'm hoping that we can kind of level some of that stuff out, and maybe our teachers are seeing a difference, our students are feeling a difference, and we're just, able to just do the whole thing a whole lot better.
That makes a lot of sense, because when you're giving them good quality food, they're going to be able to focus better. They're going to listen better. You're not going to have behavioral stuff. Test scores might start going up, even higher than they already are. So it's just one of those things where it becomes a domino effect. It's kind of that's the goal, correct?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
That is wonderful. So beyond nutrition, helping students feel more connected with ranching and agriculture, is that also a hope for this program? Is, giving kids that one thought of, hey, this came from an actual local rancher.
Right. Well, and I think, when the kids came up and said thank you, like they identified me in a crowd, and they knew like, oh, Kat and Sean did this for us.
Yep.
And so, you know, my hope is the next time some little kid sees Al Tim, they just run up and give him a big old hug.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and I think that maybe making that some of that connection back and forth to our producers that care about our kids and our kids that are thankful for our producers, kind of making that full circle, and just really kind of tying it all together. Because honestly, of course, Brett and Amy care about our kids. They have kids that go in this school. They have kids that benefit from this program. But beyond their own kids, they care about the other ones too. And same with Jackie and Jordan. I mean, there's two of the most caring and compassionate people that are in this community. And the kids will identify with those producers and see that they're giving back and be thankful for it. I just know they will. The kids are wonderful about being gracious and thankful.
Oh yeah.
So I do see that it's going to sort of fill in that circle and know that the kids are supported not only by our producers, but also by the community that I have full faith will step up and help us fundraise to support the processing of this too.
Oh, what a great idea to have, though. I mean, like you're building not only your youth and your future, but you're also strengthening the communities on all different levels.
Yep.
And that's just such a wonderful idea. That's fantastic. So like moving forward here, one of the things that I wanted to kind of also ask, so with this program, let's say everything runs perfect. Okay. Let's say, it works well. We're seeing test scores go up. We're seeing less behaviors. Everybody's excited about it. The funding's all figured out. What's the dream? Like, where does this go? What's next?
Yeah, I was actually just talking to some family and telling them that we were recording this and what it was all about. And my cousin was like, "What about eggs? What a huge!"
Oh my gosh!
I mean,
that doesn't have good timing. I don't know what does.
Exactly. Yeah. Like oh my goodness, eggs would be great. I mean,
yes.
I'm not 100% sure where North Dakota is sitting currently today on cottage laws and that sort of stuff, because those types of local produce fall under some of that. But
yes,
I think that it is not without some definite thought that would, it would be so great. Imagine pork products for breakfast. If our, maybe not all the time, but we could start with one or two. But just being
able to supplement and like get that involved, that's huge.
Yeah. And, I mean, you guys already have the hydroponics in the lunchroom. Could we expand on that? I mean, a pipe dream of a community garden where the kids were helping out a little bit at it as well. Mm-hmm. I just think that maybe if it just really takes off and we start building that energy and excitement for this, the sky is truly, limitless for this project.
Wow. So then kind of, I guess, final thing that I wanted to throw in there is, moving forward, let's say someone's watching this right now and they want to jump in, they want to help. Who do they contact? What do they do next?
Yeah. So I'm going to back up for a quick sec because we talked about the pipe dream being a little bit more. So we're going to name it.
That's right. We didn't even get to talk about the name, did we? So let's go back to, what's the name of this project?
We're going to name it the Whole Plate Project in hopes that someday the whole lunch tray, whole plate would be local produce. Maybe it's just one meal, but it would be one great meal if it all came from our 58639, or maybe it's Southwest North Dakota, whatever it is. But we're going to name it the Whole Plate Project. And if you are interested in donating to the Whole Plate Project, you can absolutely reach out to me. I am in the phone book. Our home phone number is 701-567-6635. You're welcome to reach out to me on Facebook. However, you can stop me in the street, or you can come out and support the health fair on April 24th. We will be serving some supper that night, free will donation, and the proceeds will go to the processing. At this time, I think they're writing the checks to rural reach, so it goes into that nonprofit, and then and then we work through the nonprofit.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's kind of new to me, but I fully trust Cassidy and Jasmine are going to just tell me exactly what I need to do, exactly when I need to do it. So we've partnered with some really great people that are definitely leaders and dreamers too. So truly, this could be just endless.
Very, very awesome. So before we wrap up, is there anything else you want to share with this project or anything else before we wrap up?
No, I don't think so. Like I said, if we don't get all the processing fees covered in that fundraiser at the health fair, definitely, we'll be doing other fundraisers. This is not, you're not going to kill this that easily.
Yeah.
Like, we're definitely going to be doing more if we don't reach it. I think I'm estimating, with it being our first time, that we're going to need about $7,000 to cover the processing for all 5 of the critters, and then that is including the snack sticks as well.
And that's going to begin next year. That's the plan. The
plan is to have beef in the school for the start of the 2025 school year. So in August of next year.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, Kat, thank you so much for coming in, and thanks for sharing this awesome idea and all this great information.
Absolutely.
And,
thank you.
And thank you for tuning in. If you want to listen to more Hawk Talk episodes, you can look for us anywhere you listen to your podcast, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or our YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in.